Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally. Today I'm going to take 3 trash to treasure shelves and DIY them. You probably have them hanging around. They're very basic and very boring. So project number 1, a couple of them had scallops in the background and a couple of them had straight edges. They were all white. And you may remember we got this gorgeous barn board from a friend of my husband's. And so I really wanted to be able to make use of that. And so I laid them out and I asked my husband to help me cut the barn board to fit and hide the scallop on those that had scallops. And then I had to somehow get them into my kitchen sink or my tub and get them clean because they were rather dirty from sitting in my garage. So once the first one is clean, they're all white, so I decided the first one I wanted to paint in a cream color. So first I had to wash the barn board because that barn board, I don't know where it's been, but it was filthy. And then I went ahead and took some black chalk paint and I painted this first one black. I'm sorry, I said cream. I meant black. Once I got that, I did give it 2 coats. It probably only needed 1, but I like the final product of having 2. And then once I put the barn board back in, already I was in love. I love the contrast. It looks very farmhouse. It's already very, very beautiful. Then I went through my stash and I looked to see what I had for maybe some hooks, some other hardware that might look good with it, and decided that I definitely liked the wrought iron black heart hardware. So I needed to paint some screws to match. Just grabbed some black spray paint and I sprayed those and let them dry. And then I took the sander because I really wanted to distress the edges of that and show some of the wood and maybe even a little bit of the white on the edges of the shelf. And then I took the antiquing wax because antiquing wax makes everything better. And I went ahead and I just rubbed that on it with a rag and wiped it off. And then went ahead and attached the hardware and then had to attach the board itself to the shelf, the white shelf that is now black. And so here it is. I didn't want to put a whole bunch of holes in my walls to show you all how these came out. So I am propping them on different items. So it is just beautiful. I am absolutely already loving the way that it came out. And then I went on to the second one, which was slightly smaller. The first one actually is the middle size. And then I went on to the smaller one and painted it in a cream color. And then I took the antiquing wax and just went around the edges of the whole thing with the wax. Rather than distressing it, just used the wax to give it a contrast. And then used the cream-colored heart hooks that I had initially tried on the black one. And I'm glad I saved them because they looked so much nicer on this one. So then we attached it to the back again and then had to paint the screws because they didn't match. And then I went ahead and I took the dark antiquing wax and kind of outlined the stars and the screws and just gave them a little bit more of an antique-y look as well. And then here it is just propped up on the guest bed. And I think that this one might end up in this guest room eventually once I hang it on the wall. But for now, this is how it came out. And then I threw a few different items on top just to show you how that looks as a shelf. And I think it came out really nice. Already, I like them both so much better than the original. And then I decided to prop it up on the cabinet that was also cream in my dining room, so it would be pretty altogether, a little less country looking there. And then on to project number 3. I did think it would be nice on this third one, which was 3 feet long and did need a good bath as well, to paint it more of a cottagecore color maybe instead of quite so country. So I had a silver sage and I added a deeper green to it and mixed that together. And then I added a little bit of brown as well to get me just the color green that I was looking for. And then you can see it here against the white. on the top there. I was happy with that color, so I went and painted that with 2 coats to get the full coverage. And this is not a chalk paint. It had a little, but most of it was a latex paint. So again, took a little more time to dry than a chalk paint does. So once that was fully dried, then I decided that I wanted to make it even a little bit darker by taking that antiquing wax and antiquing the entire thing. So you can just kind of paint that on with a paintbrush and wipe that off. You can do it in small sections. I just wiped it off with a paper towel here. And I did a little bit larger section than I probably should have on top, so I decided I was going to have to take a little more of that off. And just kind of played with it until I got, the basic coverage that I was looking for. But it was a little darker, so I went ahead and just took a clear wax to kind of remove some of the darker wax and give it a little less of that deep, antique color. I was happy with the way that it came out once, I was finished with that. So I let that dry completely so it wouldn't smear all over the place when I had to go ahead and attach the board again to the scalloped edges. So then I took out the hardware that I had left, and it was silver, and wasn't loving it. So then I took out these knobs that I did love in bronze, but I feel like as beautiful as the color is, they're just too small for the project. So I went down through the spray paint and found this bronze satin, and it's kind of a little bit more gold. I could have probably antiqued them, but I decided that once I put that together after it dried, that I liked it as it was. So just attached that with screws and then just propped it up on the couch. It's 3 feet long again, so that's a pretty good sized shelf. So you'll have to let me know which of these 3 colors that you preferred, and if you would ever try this with either barn board, or if you have another idea, because I have one more that I haven't updated. In fact, I might have 2 more. So I would love to have another idea to... I just don't like the scalloped edge. So if you have some idea of something that I might be able to put in its place, I would appreciate it. And I thank you for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.